We've got RIP Takeoff. We've got RIP Takeoff. Welcome to another Sunday edition of the Self Love Show, where we're going to process: can Black Americans with processed hair truly be part of the liberation? But if you've once had process, you may even have some Dax or some Murray's wave poison in your hair. Could you be a part of the liberation? Doesn't matter. Should we care? These are the questions we're asking. Did you ever have that? Would you ever get it again if it became cool? Why was it ever cool? We're going to talk about it. All right, Chi-Town, when you're ready, please like, share, subscribe. Let's get them in the building.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
In entering upon this course of instruction, each of you should, so far as possible, lay aside for the time being all previous theories and beliefs. By so doing, you will be saved the trouble of trying
all the way through the show
to put, quote, new wine into old wineskins, end quote. Luke chapter 5, verse 37. If there's anything as we proceed which you don't understand or agree with, just let it lie passively in your mind until you have enjoyed the entire show. For many statements that would at first arouse antagonism and discussion will be clear and easily accepted a little farther on. After the show is over, if you wish to return to your old beliefs and ways of living, you are at perfect liberty to do so. But for the time being, be willing to become as a little child, for said the Master in spiritual things, quote, except ye become as little children, ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven, end quote. Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. If at times there seems to be repetition, please remember, the Self Love Show is a lesson, not a lecture.
Call this shit no block. It's 10 o'clock. Where the fuck y'all niggas at? This what y'all wanted me in Chicago? No block right here. That shit call this shit no block. It's 10 o'clock. Where the fuck y'all niggas at? Niggas ain't outside. It's only 10 p.m. Where the fuck y'all niggas at, blood?
O Block right now. Where we at? Tell you something, man. This Nino Brown, man. I'm live on O Block right now. Where we at? This O Block. I'm from Miami. I just want to tell niggas, man, we gotta stop killing each other, man. Yeah, this shit ain't about nothing. All that killing shit, we gotta work together, man. Stop killing each other, my nigga. I had to come over here and tell niggas that shit, my nigga.
I'm right here. See where I'm at. I'm out here. Black Star Line cigars. For grown man. On some grown man stuff. And to the PDs, stop doing that killing. Please, stop doing that killing.
And even in this instance, if I could be of service to a 9-year-old girl or a 19-year-old woman or girl who wants to be a woman, is to really remember that self-love is the best way that you can receive love from anybody else, because it's coming from you. A lot of times we forget that. We look externally for this love. We look externally for this feeling of validation and adoration and approval, and it has to come from within.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Shh. Hush up. Shh. Be quiet. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. It's the Self Love Show. We in the building. Self Love Show, baby. Self Love Show. The Self Love Show. Great topic today. Um, and let me be clear, this isn't just geared towards African American males. There's a lot of women with process, conch in their hair. Some of you younger ones may not even know what conch is. Welcome to Chi-Town's very own The Self Love Show. We got two mottos. Motto number one is on earth as it is in heaven. Big ups to the Most High. Big praises to all the ancestors and my late beloved Mother Sky. Second motto is as above, so below. Right now, we can be found Malcolm exclusively right here on this YouTube channel. This ain't that network. It's an acronym for TATN. Hmm? TATN. Self-love. Vision. Now we've got one who can see. We've got one who can see. This is one of your co-hosts, Nine Millie, also known as Self. Chi-Town, what down, Chi-Town, what down. Bear down. Repeat after me. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. As always, we want to acknowledge that you beautiful souls can be any place and at any time in this magnanimous universe. You can be two places at once. But thankfully, we all Scooter chose to be here together. Here together. What down, Chi-Town. Brother Wordsmith, what you manifesting today, sir?
Love, man. You know me. I'm manifesting love. What you manifesting?
Ditto, good brother. Pure, magnificent unfettered, unfiltered. Some say harsh, many have said tough, but love just the same.
No doubt.
So what's been going on in your neck of the shot since we last connoitered?
Larry Lightblunt has decided to try to shift some of the immigrants sent from Texas.
Wait a minute, Larry Lightblunt with the biggest organ in the city?
Yeah. Yep. On our way out, trying to shit upon South Shore area by putting them in South Shore, the old South Shore High School.
Where's all the funding come from? I thought they closed the school down because they didn't have any funding for it.
Well, they opened a new school on the corner there, and they were lying and saying that the building has been empty for 3 years when they've been
12 was in it, weren't they?
Right, police training in it, yeah, and they were in it all this time. So they lying in the media talking about, well, it's empty.
Well, she doesn't know. She doesn't even live in the city. Is he? Am I misgendering Larry Lightblunt?
I don't. Yeah, Larry. I'm not sure. Larry said he had a penis, so.
Well, we're gonna cover that. This feels a little exploitive. Feels a little pre-planned. You've said on this show they're making plans years ahead of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Seems a little funny. Smells like poop.
Yeah.
I mean, how much can that area take?
I don't know. We don't need a school full of, we don't need that.
Undocumented.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know anything about them, where they, I hate to be that guy, but
somebody's got to be that guy.
Yeah, I mean, but apparently there was a community meeting, and apparently the community was like, no, but that doesn't mean very much. They have those sit downs so they can inform you of what they're going to do and listen to you say what you don't want to happen, and they'll still do it.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping that's not going to be the case this time, because, yeah.
Well, I didn't vote for Lightblunt, so I didn't have a vote in that election.
Right. Well, I did, and I definitely didn't vote for it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so maybe you were clairvoyant. All right, so you guys like, share, subscribe. These are lessons, not lectures. What to expect on today. And we always kick it off with the quote of the day. We have our platform video. It's very short. It's the More Growth and Development Movement. And then, of course, we're going to run a video and unpack that. We hope you guys can join us where we decide if our government was moving efficiently or tyrannically. Then we have our Your Mind is a Terrible Thing to Waste, the Dome teaser. That's our riddle. I'll give you the riddle, and then we give you till the end of the show to come up with a solution. Have some pride out there. Do your ancestors some justice. Use your brain. Take a shot at it. Normally it comes down to self-love solving it. Last week, ChatGTP beat them. And I've got some ChatGTP for this riddle here. So let's see if we can't get you guys' mind caught up to the machine. And of course, the topic is, can blacks with processed hair be part of the liberation? This is Process Week here on TATN. If you missed Mouthpiece Included, we just went over the top 5 greatest athletes to ever rock a process. But that's, for another day. Phone lines are open. That number's 424-900-6945. That number's what?
Troll free.
That's right, 424-900-6945. That number's what?
Absolutely, positively troll free.
Trolls get what?
Holes around here.
And then we close it out with this brother to my right, Wordsmith's final words out there. He's going to summarize today's topic and a nice bit of prose right off the top of the dome out there. Probably why his mind is getting strong enough to solve these riddles, because he's using it. But you got any announcements there, fella?
House stock. Y'all already know it's going down in the town, and it's going to be a wonderful experience.
Put that shirt back up there.
Do not be able to say that you missed it, because you're going to miss an experience that you're not going to get in your everyday situation.
History's being made out here.
Absolutely.
Be a part from the start.
Absolutely. First of many.
That's right. Is that link in the chat? I'll pin it.
I'll get it right up in there. I meant to put it in as part of my...
That's all right. Bernard Creamer gives a fist out there. Hey, you guys, let me know if anybody wants to pull up for this riveting topic. You can pop in and you can pop out, make a comment if you want on this riveting topic, or you can, stay on the panel. I'll drop the link in the chat if anybody's interested. Just let me know in the chat. Ace X2U is in the building.
All right.
Big ups, Big Ace. Big ups. He's probably taking phone calls right now. This guy is a GM. Boy, this guy will talk to anybody about anything. You want to trade me what for Michael Jordan now? You know what I mean? Let me see here. All right. I never knew that about him.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, that's what he says. He's open to conversation. All right. So you guys, that's the only announcements we had. We're 11 subscribers away from reaching our goal of 499, and that's where I'm going to jump out of an airplane with my lovely wife. So yeah, do subscribe, like, share, tweet the link, whatever you got to do. And if you had a Jerry curl out there, if you ever had one, whether you got it for the girls or your girl, you got it for the guy, or you just wanted your pillow to stink, you know what I mean? You might have just wanted to have that dirty ring, when they wear that white shirt that white polo shirt and the dirty black collar. I don't know why you did it. We don't know what was in anybody's heart. Maybe you were just influenced by all the Prince, Michael Jackson, everybody had the curl in their hair. You know what I'm saying? So please put it in the chat. We're not going to clown you. You know what I mean? We're not. You know what I'm saying? So we want to find out, the modus operandi, because maybe what I feel is totally off base. We'll get there. But enough of my yapping out here. I'll turn it over to this brother so he can handle his business.
Welcome. Self Luv Show. Today's topic: can blacks with processed hair be a part of the liberation? And we're going to unpack it. Yep, that is it, baby. As always, we got a very important video, the Silverback More Growth and Development platform, which we are building the Self Love Nation off of. And as always, we have the Self Love Show quote of the day. So many black people still getting their hair straightened that it's a wonder we don't have a national holiday for Madam C.J. Walker, who invented the process for straightening kinky hair. All right, once again, so many black people still get their hair straightened that it's a wonder we don't have a national holiday for Madam C.J. Walker, who invented the process for straightening kinky hair. Henry Louis Gates Jr., historian and writer.
Madam C.J. Walker was processing, huh?
Yes, big time. Silverback More Growth and Development platform. Number 1, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back. Number 2, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. And 3, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, shine a light on positive influence. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, to provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, to close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
We're closing the gap. We're closing the gap. House stock, y'all. Like, share, subscribe. And we got number 10 in the platform.
Protect our women, children, and men by any and all means necessary.
Protect yourselves. You won't do any damn good for anybody else if you're no good to yourself.
Facts.
All right, if you guys didn't catch it, last week we covered how words cast spells that imprint the subconscious. Rather esoteric.
Yeah. Great information. If you want to know what you need to know, it's there for you to get it. So just go check out that show.
Yeah, but if you want to take the ignorant, if you want to take the ignorant blue pill, you know, don't watch it, right? Ignorant. All right, you guys like, share, subscribe. Today's topic is, can blacks with processed hair out there be part of the liberation? Phone lines are open, troll free, 424-900-6945. Self Love, did you see wrongfully enslaved?
Don't think so. You know, I stay pretty much.
Well, you remember how they used to catch a brother up north, up above the Mason-Dixon line and say,
and bring him on, shake him on back.
You're a runaway slave. Yeah. Show some papers. Yeah. Yeah. Does that still happen today?
Let's see.
A mugshot mix-up in a separate case has led to a major wrong made right. 35-year-old Sheldon Thomas walked out of court a free man today. He spent nearly 2 decades behind bars for a crime that he did not commit. Prosecutors discovered that the wrong photo was used to identify and arrest him back in 2004. And as News 4's Melissa Colorado explains, this was not the first mistake that was made by the Brooklyn DA's office.
This was how 17-year-old Sheldon Thomas entered the legal system nearly 20 years ago, now with a couple of gray hairs.
I waited a long time for this day to happen.
This is the 35-year-old leaving the same system that wrongfully convicted him of murdering a 14-year-old boy in East Flatbush on Christmas Eve, 2004. The Brooklyn District Attorney's Conviction Review Unit dug through his case and uncovered a mugshot mix-up involving another Sheldon Thomas who lived in the same neighborhood, kickstarting a devastating chain of events for the Sheldon Thomas on the right. Thomas was ultimately charged with killing 14-year-old Anderson Bursey and shooting another person.
I didn't deserve what happened.
We can never give him back what was taken from him.
The unit uncovered mistake after mistake. According to the DA's office, police knew they arrested the wrong Sheldon Thomas. A detective falsely testified in court. The court wrongly determined that there was probable cause to arrest Thomas.
You've got
Prosecution
to turn those,
used a witness with credibility problems.
I apologize
those words
for the role that my office has played in his incarceration.
In the courtroom today, Thomas extended his condolences to the family of the 14-year-old who was gunned down and whose killer was never caught.
Can you cut so it's not typing on the thing?
Oh.
They were given justice.
I don't know why that comes on.
And said he forgives all those who failed him nearly 2 decades ago.
For the detectives, for the witnesses.
I don't cut it on.
For all of them. Because at the end, God is going to judge them just like he's judging me right now.
And if you're wondering, Sheldon Thomas's first meal as a free man, oxtails, he said. Meanwhile, the Conviction Review Unit is looking into 50
Thank
other
God
open
they didn't say
cases.
McDonald's.
That's the latest here in downtown Brooklyn. I'm Melissa, Colorado, News 4 New York.
Yeah, no.
When these kids found a
All
gun.
right, so, first let's talk about, he's lost more than just that time. I mean, potential family, potential, the food, the shit food he's been eating, the poor health care.
He was 17 and he's 29 now. So I mean, not 29. Yeah. No, he was in there for 19 years, right?
Yeah, I think 20 years.
Yeah, 2004 to 2023.
Yeah, not saying he,
But
but
damn,
wasn't eating much more than Kurt's
that's
chicken and McDonald's before he went in, but
that's a
that's a
life
death.
sentence.
It's a death sentence.
Jeez.
The trauma. Like you said, he went in at 17, penitentiary for murdering a 13, 14-year-old, you know what I mean, the alleged murder.
For longer, he was in there longer than he had been alive prior to getting there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All because he had the same name as some Pookie in the community.
They look similar too. That was tripped out.
Yeah.
And they had the same name.
Yeah. And they looking at all these other cases because those detectives were just locking brothers up.
Yeah, they were fixing it. They were like, yeah, we're gonna solve this. Not correctly, but they got it closed and got people.
They did look alike, especially if you're some sort of pink trying to. Yeah. Which one is it? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Just
they all the same, man. Yeah.
If he didn't kill him, he'll kill somebody else. But he's gonna get a handsome payday. Let's hope he can, get himself. I would suggest, get yourself into some psychological help. Spend some of that money on that, to help you with the trauma.
Shit, they should pay for that too.
Yeah, they absolutely should. Tyranny.
100%.
All the way around.
They got it cleared up and got him out, but after 19 years, 20 years, that's it's unacceptable.
Man, and they say time goes by so slow in the penal system.
Yeah, because no one wants to be there.
No one. So let's hear from you guys in the chat. Tyranny, and so that's slavery. Prison is slavery.
Yes,
that's wrongful enslavement.
Yes, it is.
All right, slave catchers. All right, so let's push on then. So this next one is mass shooter training. Mass shooter training.
Alrighty.
When these kids found a gun and fired off a shot, they got in trouble with their parents, and one of those parents got in trouble with the law. The city attorney of Columbus, Ohio, says Matthew Rivas pleaded guilty to 2 counts of negligent storage of a firearm and 1 count of child endangerment.
He's
the first person to be charged under the city's new gun safety ordinances, which includes storing firearms at home in a way that minors can't access them. Home surveillance video shows 2 kids playing around in their living room when a gun goes off. Their concerned parents come to check on them.
What happened?
No, that's fire.
What happened?
That's gunpowder, man!
No!
That's gunpowder!
When the father finds the gun on the couch and fires it again, the bullets didn't strike anyone. But officials say the child who fired the gun suffered burns and short-term hearing loss. With his guilty plea, Rivas will serve 10 days in jail, a 170-day suspended sentence, and 2 years of probation. He also won't be allowed to own or possess any firearms until his probation period is over. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Mara.
Wow, he shouldn't be. That's very much, my goodness.
First of all, what if that was a Pookie?
a healthy prison sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
The children would go to the system.
and you know that.
Mm-hmm.
Never be able to own a gun legally.
He was blaming the kids.
Well, he's a pretty stupid man.
He was blaming and shouting at the kids. If your kids can get to your stick, that's nobody's fault but yours.
Yours, period.
Loaded stick, probably never on safety.
Could have shot the sibling. Could have shot, just playing around, and could have, instead of just pulling the trigger where it's at, could have shot, just been playing guns.
Correct. And then it's on the couch and you go over there, not you, but he goes over there and picks it up and lets off another shot. Could have shot that poor dog that was right there.
Or one of his children. Anybody in the room. I mean, it was crazy himself. How do you go over there and pick up the gun and shoot it?
Where you think they're getting all that, how to handle a gun from,
Monkey?
Yeah. 10 days. Yeah. MEP?
There could be some MEP involved. Chances are they come running out the room like that.
I call it mathematics. They process.
It's gunpowder.
Grab the gun. And then did you see the way he was carrying it? Because they cut the video even after. He should never have a gun. The way he was holding it even after it went off, when he initially picked it up, turned around and looked around. You know what I mean? I didn't see him putting a safety on it. I didn't see him doing nothing to secure that weapon.
Well, one thing he did do, he grabbed the bottom of it. He didn't put his finger in near that trigger thing at all.
Yeah, that stick might have a mind of its own.
Man, they didn't show the little one cock the thing, so it probably was one in the chamber already.
It had to be, which makes you wonder what kind of lifestyle is this guy living.
Man.
You know what I mean? Again, if he was colored, they probably would have searched the house looking for MEP.
That's crazy.
All right. So we both agree that that's crazy. Yeah, we're moving away from this segment. Self, in the future, it's going to be pink on pink crime.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't like to show that around the internet as much, so we'll ram it here on the Self Luv Show. All right. Can blacks with processed hair be part of the liberation process? Phone lines are open. Here we go. We go to the dome teaser here. Here's your riddle. This is from Chat GTP, so I don't expect you people who are only human, who haven't had any mind enhancements or anything like that, to be able to come up with these. So here we go. What is hard and hairy on the outside, soft and wet on the inside, begins with a C and ends with a T? What is? Can you believe ChatGPT? Can you?
Yeah, because I can't believe what came to mind.
Yeah,
when I thought about that. But part of it makes you think no.
Yeah, but then it asked me, "Did you like that?" I didn't ask it for a joke. I asked it for a riddle. But this is what the AI sent me. What is hard and hairy on the outside, soft and wet on the inside, begins with a C and ends with a T. All right.
Hard. Oh.
All right. Looks like Self Luv is getting smarter than that. Ace says, of course, it's tyranny. They don't make such mistakes when it comes to pinks. You mean, I think Ace is saying if there's a Dakota, some white last name.
Yeah.
And then there's another Dakota Miller You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they're going to get the right Dakota Miller.
Or they won't get a Dakota Miller at all. One of the two.
Right.
They're not going to get the wrong one.
It's bizarre. That's bizarre. Because they couldn't have had any evidence that this guy was the killer.
No.
They obviously did not believe, even the jury didn't believe his alibi.
Yeah, I wonder if they had a eyewitness, because that other guy looked similar, man.
Yeah, but
their eyes was.
But
both of them.
17-year-old had to have somebody who can vouch for where he was at this alleged time.
I know, and they said no. Somebody with the same name, live in the same neighborhood, and look similar. That's
a movie.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see. So Self Love had a thumbs up. Ah, look at that. Look at that. Self Love, Brother Wordsmith is back. I can say he's correct. I don't expect the chat to be able to solve the chat GTP riddles. But enough of the appetizer, Self Love.
Let's quench the Self Love Nation's thirst.
All right. Well, hopefully we got a promo video to run, y'all. Then we'll get on topic. So you guys get your water, get your drinks, whatever it is. And we're going to talk. This is Process Week on TATN. You know you had a process.
That's better, Miss Thing.
It's not real.
Say what? You heard. It ain't even real.
You wish you had hair like this.
You know, there's a lot of calcification out here.
Yeah, they still feel it. They just don't know what what it is, how to interpret it.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair?
I can make you laugh or cry. I can make you live. Hey, you can go ahead and de-escalate or die. Self Love just came with another one. He's wrong again. All of his answers could have been right. I can make you rich or poor. Okay, people. I can make you love or bore. Whatever. To African American, hair is more than just a physical feature for our people. It's a symbol of identity, culture, spirituality, and resistance. Throughout our history, our people have faced discrimination, oppression, and violence based on our natural hair texture, which differs from the dominant European standards of beauty and professionalism. Drop dead gorgeous. As a result, showing political implications. Many view it as a form of self-expression.
That was a tough one. ChatGTP came up with that.
Convenience versus assimilation.
What do you call it? The automatic intelligence out there.
Others view it as a sign of internalized racism, self-hatred, and conformity. Today, the Self Love Show is unpacking the history of hair straightening, the purpose. Is it in fact self-hatred? And ultimately, can you truly be down with a conch? All right, production, you can kill that. And big ups to the Midwest Festival. They're presenting House Stock. That link is pinned in the chat. If anybody wants to pull up and join this discussion, you're welcome. Or you can call in or text 424-900-6945. Let's get after it, self-love. Let's get after it. Well, first thing we want to do is talk about the history of it. Some of it was mentioned in that brilliant introduction. We mentioned Madam C.J. Walker in the quote of the day. Do you know when the processing process was invented by Madam, or around the era?
I'm not really sure about Madam C.J. Walker, but I know that indigenous people used bear fat to straighten their hair prior to this being, colonized or what have you.
Really?
Yes.
Why were they using it? Ceremonial purposes, or they wanted to look like the pale face?
There were no pale faces around, so they just wanted to straighten their hair. Some of it was for ceremonial purposes. They would do it at times for different ceremonies, but some of them just wanted to straighten their hair.
So you're saying that bear fat would straighten my hair out? I could have used that instead of the Murrays or the Dacks.
Yeah.
It was the early 1900s. Walker was a Black entrepreneur and philanthropist. She invented the line of hair care. She, right?
Yeah, she.
Yeah, madam. Yeah. All right.
First self-made woman in America, so they say, and first millionaire, a Black millionaire, period.
Yeah, and this is the time where the genders, you don't have to worry about misgendering people.
No, not at all.
Okay.
She was a woman.
All right. So and her invention included a hair straightening formula. Her products were popular among Black women who wanted to achieve a smoother and sleeker look for their hair. So it sounds like the target consumer during those times was for the Black woman. Sounds like the Black men or melanated men had no interest in it.
Yeah, it's history, so we don't really know. There's a reason why they prop up Madam C.J. Walker, and I'm not sure of the reason, but.
So you think there was a bunch of Black men that were using her products too?
I'm not sure. That's what I was saying. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Creamer said Al Sharpton is a clear precedent for the wig matching with wisdom or lack of.
He's also
Al
said,
Sharpton. Go ahead.
This definitely speaks to the lack of or presence of a correct political consciousness. In my experience, the hair matches the mental, although every sister with an afro ain't pro-Black.
Facts.
Yeah.
And every brother.
Yeah, with locks ain't conscious.
Oftentimes those locks aren't even real.
Facts.
But well said. And Al Sharpton, he's low hanging fruit at this point, but we'll get into it. We'll definitely get into it.
Vegan with the process now.
Well, maybe it's processed, maybe using bear fat. You know what I mean? He's using something natural to process his hair. You know what I mean? All right. So Walker's products were controversial during that time. Some critics accuse her of promoting a Eurocentric ideal of beauty and undermining the natural beauty of Black hair. Walker defended her products as empowering Black women to have more options and opportunities in a racist society. This sounds a lot like Ebony Jet. Because they got rich too. John H. Johnson with this whole high yellow straight hair.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a reason why she gets propped up. I promise you that. I don't exactly know the reason, but by the time the end of this show, I might.
Yeah, it's definitely a reason. How about the conking, Self? When did the conking start? Now this is when I attribute it more towards when Black men start getting involved. Your sex worker managers, your
entertainers.
Yes. So this, I don't necessarily know difference between a conch. I think it's covered here somewhere, but
It's more chemically based. I thought that Madam C.J. Walker invented the straightening comb. I mean, I know she had some shampoo and stuff, some other stuff, but I thought she invented the straightening comb.
she had a straightening formula too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was some petroleum and sulfur. So it probably wasn't much different than the conking.
Yeah, well, okay, so in the 20s and 30s, the another method of straightening emerged as the conch. The conch was a hairstyle that involved applying a mixture of lye and potatoes. And now, if you watched the show last week when we were doing words or spells, the homophones.
Yes.
So there's a mixture of lye
Yeah.
and potatoes to one's hair. Then combing it back and smoothing it down with pomade, which you saw the Malcolm X, the Denzel Washington character who depicted Malcolm X doing. The conch was popular among Black men, to your point about music, who wanted to emulate the style of jazz musicians and celebrities such as Cab Calloway and Nat King Cole. You know, a long time I thought Nat King Cole was a female. You know what I mean? And then they had the daughter Natalie Cole. Yeah, Nat. I mean, you know, come on. You know, for years I thought that growing up. Now the conch was also painful, damaging, and dangerous, as the lye could cause severe burns and scalp infections. The conch, 20s, 30s.
No doubt. Ridiculous.
Well, they brought up celebrity, but before we go there, Kramer said Walker was a hyper integrationist, wannabe capitalist. Sounds like, yeah, Ebony. Sounds like John H. Johnson.
Yeah. And that might be why she was, propped up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then some of these celebrities who, history repeats itself. We see celebrities and we're like, man, this is propped up. Right? Like, come on, that's crap. And this guy over here who has the same name, who lives in the same community, is 10 times colder than this person.
Right.
But yet they're propping this person up.
Right. And I was reading, when I'm doing some research, that there was some women who, were wealthy at the same time.
C.J. Walker was.
Yeah. And it says their wealth wasn't confirmed or whatever it is or whatever.
Yeah, one lady started her own bank.
So
Black lady.
So it's absolutely a reason why she's in his story. At least she's a real character, because I found a lot of our heroes never existed. They're just figments of the government. The corporation just created them,
But it sounds like, for one thing, we need to do, we'll get to solutions later. But just this whole celebrity thing, it's like the tail is wagging the dog. You know what I mean? Deion Sanders got it, then let me get my hair like that. And my dad go out and give me the chemicals so I can, change my hair.
Worship celebrity, and it's not a good practice.
Well, there was an era though, Self. Can you think of the era when blacks started to revert back to natural hair? And this was spearheaded by a celebrity too. Well, to a certain point.
60s.
Facts.
When they, changed a very derogatory word, tried to, have it represent us.
But the N word?
No, the B word.
Black?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but you're right. The I'm black and I'm proud movement, 60s and the 70s. So that would be the civil rights, which means nothing. The civil rights movement and the Black Power movement sparked the resurgence of natural hairstyles among blacks. Afro-textured hair, Angela Davis, was seen as a source of pride out there, identity and resistance against the white supremacy. So you had the cornrow. I do remember seeing that a lot coming up. The dreadlocks and the twist became symbols of black liberation and cultural expression. However, not all black people embraced these natural hairstyles.
Most didn't.
Some still preferred to straighten their hair for personal or professional reasons.
Still
We're talking 60s and 70s. Well, I mean, come on, bro. It was a time like, if you walked into your local Walgreens or Woolworths, whatever at that time, and you wanted to get employed, even a corporation, or you went downtown to Marshall Fields, you're probably more likely to be considered if you had a drippy jerry curl or some sort of process than if you came in there looking like a thug, looking like, a freedom fighter with an afro or dreads, bro. And it was for years. You couldn't even get jobs with dreads. This just became, after a while, that you flood the corporations with so many people with dreads, they got to hire somebody until they get the AI.
Yeah. Well, I know. Might not know it. The people that don't know me might not know it, but
yeah, looking at your bald head, looked like you had a curl or something back in there.
I had just had not good old, but it's just my mother's side of the family. It's from her mother and from my great grandmother.
Yeah, you had a good textured
hair.
Coarse hair though. It wasn't straight like Goldie the pimp.
No. But I had a good texture of hair, so that they call good or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
I still do. I still do. And if I choose to grow it out, it just ain't gonna grow everywhere.
I haven't worked that out of data yet. I don't want to get Mark Cuban mad at me, but everybody I know had those drippy drip curls, Deion Sanders and everybody included. They're bald today. But yeah, they're bald today. So let's talk the 80s and 90s, the NWAs.
Hold on, there's one person I know that had the drip in Coach. He's not bald. He's the only one I know. The only one I've seen.
You're right.
Oh, another one. My brother Jazzy. He's not bald.
Jazz, you're out in Jazzy. You're out in Jazzy that he had a curl.
I mean, it's not. You know what I mean? What am I supposed to do? He had it. Yes. My brother had a curl. Yes.
Well, I've got more than one brother, but I can definitely say one of my brothers had a curl too.
Right. So
drip curl.
Yeah, it was in thing. I didn't get it, and I was like, Mom was like, "You want to do that?" I'm like, no. Of course, I was very little. I probably didn't have a choice, actually. Think about the age.
But you was just as little as Coach when he had a curl. I mean, this guy had a curl.
Well,
you had to have a curl to go with your Michael Jackson jacket, zippers on it. And he had one of those too, with all the buttons on it. But let's move off, Coach. So the 80s and 90s, you start having like Eazy-E. Eazy-E definitely had that curl, boy.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of Tupac with a curl, bro. That blew my mind. Tupac Shakur, bro.
Hey, it was an in thing for, at a point in time.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lot of people that,
man. Walker was a hyper integrationist. Yeah, we said that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yep.
All right. So the 80s and 90s, bro. We did have a resurgence of it. We mentioned that on Mouthpiece Included. I think around that time, like late 80s, if you saw Pookie and he had some sort of process in his hair, you assume he was probably folks. I'm going to say it. You know what I mean? The folks had that. Because remember, at some point, the brothers, went with more natural, looks. I mean, you got to think hard. Think about the time you saw a brother, Self, But he was a Stone or a Vice Lord. I really think they had him. I can't remember. I don't remember no Stones with him. But
Right.
think about it. When you saw him with a drippy curl, I remember coming on the block and they started talking about you. Was your folks? I mean, come on. I mean, I want to ask. I mean, you know,
that's observation.
we're going through the history of it.
Yeah, I mean, I would suspect, but you know, there were factions.
Larry Hoover never had a curl. I've never seen that. Jeff Ford.
No. Oh no, definitely not.
Huey P. No.
No.
It's definitely something with the curl. Now, in the 80s and 90s, the popularity of hip hop culture and the emergence of new technologies such as the flat irons, the ceramic plates led to more diversity and creativity in black hairstyles. Remember Snoop? He had that press, boy. Snoop straight up looked like a bitch. I don't know if they can say bitch on. He did. He just went. I mean, you know, he was primping. That was the thing. Now, black people experimented with different styles such as braids, weaves, extensions, curls, and waves. Let's talk about waves here for a minute. You know, now waves aren't to the extent of curls. Your hair didn't burn out yet, but there was some reason we just, you know, just couldn't have our natural. You know, you go to certain parts of Africa and you know they got beady naps.
I guess. I mean, it's about choice, a lot of things, and it's mainly about programming. And I wonder where it comes from because, you know, like I said, we were using bear fat before Conking and Madam C.J. Walker and Murray's was ever thought of, or Dax for that matter. And those are old products too. Murray's, that was an old product.
Yeah.
It was, man, it went back.
Sport and Wave.
Yeah.
That's not an old one,
new.
but
that was new. Yeah, but it was same thing though. Pretty much the same thing.
Dax. You remember Dax?
People Dax and Murray's are old.
And then what was that grease? Remember, it was like blue. It was like bluish in a little glass jar. It was just hair grease. That's what and your mama tell you, go in there and get that grease.
Sulfate or something.
I don't know what the name of it was. I swear they
called
it
ain't sulfate, but sulfate
they just called it grease. That was around the same time you see lard in the crib. You know what I mean?
It was probably some
same thing.
Yeah, it might have been lard. I mean, lard was used for that.
Bear fat that was colored blue. We called it grease, huh?
It might have been lard, because shit, you butcher a pig, you know, you got everything for the year. Like what? And be like, yeah. Well, you know, when I was down south with my family.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. I've never had a homie that was like running in my posse, Phil Jackson, with a curl. They may have had them at certain points in their life, but by the time we come across each other, they didn't have a curl. But there were guys outside of the clique. Oh yeah, they come around there with that curl. Like, what's that smell? Every now and then, like they weren't using the products right or ran out of the, you know, because you had to put on the smell good to cover up.
The moisturizer. Had to keep that thing moisturized.
Oh my God.
I can say Coach and my brother, they kept theirs moisturized. It wasn't no dry, you know.
So they weren't looking like dirty folks.
Right. And they weren't drippy, you know, either. They were, you know, they were moisturized correctly. I can't say that about them.
All right. Was the same person doing their curl that was doing each other? Did they have the same hairdresser?
No, I don't know. I know they didn't.
Did Jackie have one? I know Jackie had a girl. You cannot sit here and tell me Jackie never had a girl. Or
I
he had a
don't.
process. He
No,
had
he
some
had
sort of con.
perms.
Oh yeah,
He had
yeah.
perms.
All right.
He had flat out perms.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, we're not, outing people. We're just, trying to come up with this empirical
Right.
data.
But I think he was doing it before curls came out, so he didn't. Saint had a curl.
Oh, it's amazing. But so did Malcolm X. So did
Right.
Tupac.
I'm just saying.
But I mean, at some
that's
point,
why
like when does Al Sharpton say, "Hey, I'm gonna get this out of my hair"? Like,
no, he'll be in the casket with it.
pick up Al Sharpton.
No, yeah, I'm all right, I guess. He will be in the casket with it though.
Oh boy.
You already know what this is. And we are having a great time. And, we talked about the history of the process and all of that, and whether it's, we're going to see what's happening. We're going to expand the conversation second half and get much into it. And we'll be right on back. We got some great videos for you to check out. As always.
House stock, baby. House stock.
And let's get it. Wait a minute. How would one embark upon commercial real estate investing?
So I've thought about that question, and I think someone that is looking to get into commercial real estate now should look at opportunities in multifamily. That's a healthy area to get into. Housing prices are rising, interest rates are rising. There's been a slowdown in homes being constructed, at least in the Colorado market and around most of the country. I'm sure it's the same in Illinois as well. But I think the multifamily market would be great to get into. And there obviously are a lot of those properties in the Chicagoland area, from 5 units like I bought back in the day, all the way up to 40 or 50 or 100 unit buildings there. And so if I were looking to do something, I would explore a multifamily property. And one trick or strategy I would suggest to those of you out there looking to get into it, obviously if you go to a bank, you're going to be looking at some pretty expensive money to borrow on that type of purchase. If you find owners of multifamily properties that are interested in selling and motivated to sell, but may not be getting the level of interest from potential buyers because of the slowdown in the economy and the higher rent, approach those owners and see if they would be willing to do a owner carry. And an owner carry is where that owner would serve as the bank and give you, for lack of a better word, a mortgage on the property. So let's play it out real quick. So let's say there's a $200,000, you approach an owner of a property on the south side that wants to sell a 6-unit for $200,000. And they've had it on the market a while and no interested parties because interest rates are now 7% for commercial properties. Well, you can approach that owner and say, look, I'm going to give you 10% down. So I'll give you $20,000 now as a down payment. And then why don't you be the bank for me? And the remaining 180, let's do a mortgage, a 25 or 30-year mortgage that balloons or that is payable in 5 years, and give me an interest rate of about 7%. And that will benefit the seller in that they're not going to get hit with a lot of capital gains right off the top at the transaction. And it gives them the ability to enter into a transaction where the demand is probably less because of interest rates now. And then it gives the buyer the ability to approach a seller and not have to deal with all the red tape and issues we have to deal with as Black folks trying to get commercial loans. So that would be an approach that I would take on right now. There's a lot of, at least in Colorado, and I'm sure it's the same in Illinois, there's a temperature now and a willingness of sellers to consider owner carry. If they can get some money up front and they can spread out the payments. Now, this may not apply if there's already debt on the property, because obviously that debt needs to be paid. But there might be a situation where you can assume the debt on the property, not to get too complicated with the analysis.
Yeah.
Assume that debt. But so think outside the box, I would say, in terms of opportunities, approach sellers. And I did that on my property in Beverly. I remember, I think it was a $300,000 purchase at the time. And I think I went to Beverly Bank and got the first mortgage, but I think I needed 20% down or 25% down. And Beverly Bank was only willing to give maybe 80% or 75% of the value of the property. And then I had the seller give a second mortgage for like $30,000, paid him off over time. So think creatively about financing, particularly in a climate where interest rates are rising like we have now.
We've got one who can see.
You definitely want to, once you and the owner come to an agreement, hire yourself an attorney, retain an attorney.
Better have an attorney.
Look over the details and all of the legalese. This brother right here was able to, probably construct his own contract with the owner and make it make sense. Would you suggest, because I know you said, okay, so start with a 5-unit or something.
Single family.
Right. So you would suggest, starting somewhere like that, before like embarking upon like one of those strip malls or anything of that nature?
If you can do a strip mall or a retail center,
yeah,
you might want to do that. You've really got to do your due diligence.
Hey bros, what's going on? This is Cotton. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Do you still have them? I got mine.
That Chicago Silverback say Walter Payton had the best girl. Hey, this is Process Week on TATN. That video there with Ace on there was hilarious. Check your mute there, fella.
Yes, sir.
9
Mills. Yep. Welcome back. Y'all already know we've been on. Can blacks with processed hair be a part of the liberation? We've gotten to the history of hair straightening and processing of hair and all of that. And then we're going to get more into the conversation about, can they be a part of the liberation? And we're back.
Yeah, and it's something I hadn't thought about. Self, like even, barbershops are tied into our culture. There's been movies about it.
Yeah.
We go there, we talk about stuff. Well, I don't go, but
I don't either.
Yeah, I've went and I've gone, I should say. And, you start singling these individuals out, the ones who will put poison in your hair. I don't think I can go to a Fruit of Islam barbershop and they'll put all that in my hair just for the money.
No, some of that stuff is pork based, and they definitely wouldn't do that.
All right, so as Self Love mentioned, we covered the history, and we're going to get into more breaking down the topic as it's written. B. Creamer said reality. Any efforts less kinky qualifies as white-minded. All of us fell prey. Dax, Murray's, Sport and Wave. We're conditioned. And see, there's that there's that condition, because that's what we were doing in our hair. Conditioning. They call it conditioning, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're conditioned to hate how our hair grows naturally. Yeah, bro. I had the nappiest hair in Ray school. Now think about that. All these are Cosby kids if they're black at that school. I mean, some of the richest kids in the city would be there if they were at public school. Of course, a lot of them went to private, and I had the nappiest hair in the school. I mean, well, there was Jonathan Nobles. He'd be right up there with me, but he didn't have pride to go put some sort of something in there. You know what I mean? He just came with his naps out. You know what I mean? So big ups Jonathan Nobles. You know what I'm saying? His hair was nappier than mine, and I'd love standing next to him. I'd look like I was Prince. You know what I mean? Ignorant. But to his point, I wanted to get into that. I mean, I'm clowning people who had locks, but I kept me some Sport and Wave or Murray's or Grease. People don't know what I'm talking about.
We was taught. That's what we was taught.
Yeah. Yeah, and in my household, it was Sunday. All the chemicals came out. You had to show up to church and look white. There's a white God on the wall. You know what I mean?
Man, what a process.
Well, if he was depicted as melanated, he definitely would have had a process. But you know what I mean? But no, he was the drop dead gorgeous, blonde haired, blue eyed. I mean, that's what America says is beautiful. All right. And then so we got another comment. I've never hated or laughed at KD's hair. Is he talking about Kevin Durant?
Kevin Durant.
And his hair exposed a whole lot of white minds. He rocked it how it grows, period. An intentional statement, maybe. I don't see any naps in his hair.
You've not looked.
Kevin Durant?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Kobe was one who went natural with it.
I'm saying that he have a low cut, and that his stuff naps up. Like, it'd be little balls on his head. I ain't never really tripped on it either, but I saw it and I'm like,
even combing your hair could be, whether it's a hot comb or not, because you're combing it to get the what?
Kinks out.
The naps out. And I remember, man, your family be like, man, you need to comb your hair and get them naps out. Your hair nappy. That's interesting that in theta, your program.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you never comb your hair, it's going to turn into dreads.
Locks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, to locks. Better term. That's dreadlocks is a spell.
Well, yeah, and I'm not going to discount the KD thing. You know what I mean? I'm just going to pay more attention to it.
Because people clown him on social media. That's the only reason I know. And they
do they?
Yeah, they'll be drawing pictures around it and zooming in on it. And
people or coons in blackface.
I don't. They might even be pink. I'm not sure who's doing it. That goes on social media. But
well, I've never had one pink person to say my hair was nappy.
No,
what I'm saying is the psychology
don't know nothing about it. They be looking like.
Well,
that's why they want to walk up to you and touch your hair now.
Yeah,
they don't understand that.
Yes, what I'm saying is the psychology within our culture that naps are bad.
Right.
That what I'm saying, even white supremacy, right? They can be making comments about this. You're an animal. You're this and that and that. It's rare that they would come to your nappy hair. I'm just saying we do it to ourselves when it comes to, maybe we do it as a result of the programming, but we do it to ourselves, bro.
To a certain degree, I think some of that we've been doing before they got here, since before they got here.
That's why we were using the bear fat?
Yeah.
Okay, so why? What psychology would it have to be if we're not trying to be white? I mean, if you're going back there.
They wanted their hair straight. And I don't know for what reason or whatever. They didn't like the naps or whatever.
Or maybe just to be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that portion of people didn't want their hair to be coarse like that. They wanted it to be straight, and they figured out how to do it. I don't know what it is, but definitely it's been programmed into us since then, since they got here, that straight hair is better and all of that. So there's been a lot of propaganda towards that.
And Brother Wordsmith, okay. Now, 2000s, we're off the yard. So from the 2000s to 2010s, the natural hair movement gained momentum, and you were kind of ahead of that curve. You had locks, I had a little fro.
Right.
Gained momentum as Black people decided to embrace their natural hair texture and reject harmful chemicals, heat, and tools. And at that point, I wasn't big on chemicals. I
Right.
realized, your skin and your scalp is porous. Things are coming in and going out.
Yes.
I had I'm not going to say a disdain for pink people. I had a distrust, maybe somewhere coded in my DNA, where I'm like, this doesn't make sense, But the movement, it was fueled by, they said it was fueled by social media, but we didn't have that in the early 2000s.
It was fueled by the music, hip
I
hop.
would say that too. Yeah, PE when he came. Yeah.
I mean, that whole time it was, not just PE. It was Professor X. What was that name of that group?
Terminator X?
No, the group that Reese listened to all the time. No, I can't think of the name of them.
Okay, yeah, I have to text him, find out. Professor X was one of the artists?
Yeah.
X Clan.
X Clan. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I knew you was gonna get it. That's right. I was about to say something else, but X Clan. Yep. Creamer put X Clan. Yep.
Yeah. And I told you, I promised on this show I'd go back and dig into the X Clan a little more, because obviously they were ahead of their time. You know what I mean?
The one dude that's still living is he was on point then. The one main dude rapping.
I tell you who's on point. Lupe Fiasco. That's who's on point. Big ups, Lupe Fiasco.
I won't. Won't say anything bad about my brother.
Yeah,
Lupe.
not throwing off, X Clan, but
right.
Lupe's on point. Yeah, so the movement during that time was challenging the stigma and stereotypes associated with natural hair in the mainstream media and society. However, the movement also faced criticism from some who accused it of being elitist, exclusive, and judgmental. So now, Self, the straight hair, high yellow, elitist people are complaining that guys like yourself who went natural are being judgmental and elitist and exclusive.
Idiocy. Complete. Just a tactic, gaslighting.
Loving ourselves face criticism, accusing self-love of being elitist, exclusive, and judgmental. Because you make a choice not to poison your body.
Man, anything we do for our benefit, to our benefit, is frowned upon by society.
Mainstream and society. Mainstream media and society. Yeah.
Yes.
Facts. So we're going to get into, Self Love and I, we look at the entire picture. So we're going to talk about, which we've discussed, but we're going to talk about some cons of conking. See what I did there? Cons of conking. And then some pros of conking. So first we're going to get into some cons. You might not think they're pros. We'll talk about it. But cons. Physical or health concerns, anything like that, Self?
Yeah, well, you stated earlier that it could cause burns and infection. So hey, those are cons. And your skin is your largest organ, and anything you put into your hair or onto your scalp or onto your hands or any part of your body gets right into your bloodstream and does the damage that it does when it moves internally.
And I'm thinking the atmosphere, the earth is a body as well, right? And all these poisons, whether it's a nuclear explosion or pollution's going in the air, is getting out into the body of the universe. And maybe that's why we're having these alleged sightings of other beings. They're probably just like white cells into the body of the universe or the whole. And these beings would, show up to fix, these problems or to, isolate, the poisons. To your point about everything being porous, because as above, so below.
Facts. And above and below is subjective. So there's a plane, and it's a huge plane, and that's where the extra space is, where these beings come from and live. And,
well, if an electron or an atom can be in two places at the same time, then I'm sure supreme beings can, who understand the vibrations and the manipulations at the micro.
Absolutely.
Now, B. Creamer said, Exclam, we talked about that. He said, also add 2 artists from Shy, a young brother from Shy. You've heard of him? A young brother from Shy? I gotta write that down. I'm not up on him, B. Creamer. A young. And also added 2 from Shy.
Oh, he's talking about Lupe.
Oh yeah, he's definitely from Shy. He's either north side, northwest side. It's hard to, where you claim. Back in the day when my nephew was a skateboarder, I don't know if you went with me, but we was living together in South Shore, and I went to one of my nephew's skateboard. He ended up skateboarding out here in Long Beach, but I went to one of his events he was having, and Lupe was there, man. This is before Lupe was Lupe, man.
Oh, add 2. That's the name.
Oh, that's the
artist from Shy. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I always love that.
Yeah.
A good artist dropping knowledge is like a good book. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And usually they have some DJ behind them that appreciates what's going on out there. You know what I'm saying? A producer. Usually. All right. But all right. So health concerns. So if we haven't seen the long-term damages, or maybe we have, and it's just not being put out there to avoid the lawsuits that could be coming, because who knows what's in these chemicals and what it's doing to our bodies over a long term.
The people that make it, they know. They know. That's why they make it how they make it.
But it's funny, pink people have to put chemicals in their hair to get it kinky.
Well, yeah, I mean, the curl. Their whole thing is the complete opposite. It's
well, that's actually a permanent, and it makes the hair curly.
Perms, it gives it some curl instead of being.
What we're doing is getting relaxers, but we started mistakenly calling it a permanent because of the new chemical that came out that made the straightening more permanent. But really what we're doing is relaxing our hair, though, technically.
Yeah.
The white folks are getting the perms. My wife had told me that, and she's right.
Yeah, I noticed it off of, when I was married. There was a discussion going on, and I saw it, and I was like,
yeah,
the opposite. It's the opposite, which makes sense. So
it does make sense. So that's a psychology in itself. that these pink folks want to have curlier hair, and that we want to have kinkier hair.
Yeah.
He said the album is named Jim Crow. Do yourself a favor. You'll want to have him on the show. I promise. Absolutely. Yeah. If we can make that happen, let's be about it. Now,
Yeah.
straightening one's hair can have adverse effects on one's health. We talked about that, such as burns, hair loss, exposure to potentially toxic chemicals. The conch was also painful, damaging, and dangerous, as the lye could cause severe, burns and infections, as you mentioned, and I mentioned earlier, to your scalp and skin. So we're doing cons of it. Breakage, hormonal disruption. They say these chemicals can cause the Nation of Islam's been on that. Hormonal disruptions, which could be leading to what? Sterility.
Yeah, that's manly.
And
Big Creamy said, Kwame Ture said it wasn't a permanent, it's a temporary.
That's all it can be. Because if you got to keep putting shit in your hair,
it's not a permanent.
It's not permanent. You know what I'm saying? Kwame Ture. Big up Stokely Carmichael. You know what I mean? All right. But yeah, hormonal disruption, birth defects,
I'm sure,
ADD, increased ADD in our community, whatever that
is. Yeah. I think the school system is probably more the issue with ADD and ADHD or whatever they want to call it.
Well, we talked about racial plasty. So if Madam BJ Runner, creates a chemical that can make your skin naturally look white and make your hair look drop-dead, gorgeous, blonde, and vice versa, a chemical that can make them with kinky hair and look like us. That's an interesting postulation as to who, because I think every white supremacist would use it.
Well, I'll just say that everything we do, they aspire to do and be. They go into rooms to expose themselves to machines that darken their skin, as well as lay out in the sun to achieve a darker.
At the risk of cancer.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
So you think more white folks would be taking the chemical to be permanently darker and
hold on. There are some people that we know. Well, not necessarily know. We know of. I mean, have you seen Sammy Sosa?
Yeah, it's Sammy Sosa. I mean, come on, Self. I mean, are women, who are they propping up there? That girl who did this from LSU, they're propping her all over the internet. She sits there with her conked out weave, doing this through everything she posts. There's a psychology there.
It is.
What's going on with the psychological damage that we're sending to our young ones that are in theta?
And that our natural self is not enough.
It's not beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, they claim they want to make Barbie dolls that look like us, but then they make one of them black with
same hair,
same nose.
What the hell? Come on. You just sprayed a little paint on the white one.
You gave her a doing? You gave her a dark tan. Yeah,
you didn't make it. Come on.
Yeah, so we're saying there's physical damage, we're saying that there's psychological damage, and we're saying it's generational. Those are the cons.
Yeah, it's been going on definitely for generations and generations to come.
And we could talk about the dirty pillow, the dirty shirt collars, You know, the smell, the price, the pain, you know, the overall sacrifice. You know, we could talk about that. Those are, you know, obvious cons, but let's get into the pros of it. You know, I know you know something, you know, but there's to be a negative, there has to be a positive, or it couldn't exist. Okay. Um, hey, to attract dating interest.
I guess. I was never attracted to a female with a curl. In fact, that would make me be like, no.
I had one near experience and I almost puked. And bro, I was 16, so you can imagine. I mean, come on, the wind could blow.
Oh, yeah, never. So I guess that's a pro. I mean, you know, heard some guys, you know, say that it was an advantage, but
Well, what's the psychology of the person that's attracted to someone who's conking their hair? Like, it's got to be a psychology there.
yeah,
On both sides.
I mean, it is on both sides because I've never had a curl and I didn't want to be with someone who did. So, you know what I mean? So they got a curl and they really want to be with somebody with a curl, I guess, because they really understand and have both sides of the pillows. Greased up.
With that little black stain in the middle of it. All right. So, how about professional advancement?
Well, yeah, I mean,
well, let's just say you can't show up looking like Jonathan Nobles, like just when had a job interview and expect somebody to take you seriously. Same reason, you know, I would get the locks redone like right before going into it. It's still a psychology behind that. I should better go in there just like my hair is.
Yeah, you should, but you got to work, see what you're exposed to. You know what I mean? Who you're exposed to, and are they open to that? Because society don't look at everything like they should, as far as I'm concerned. It's too much superficial stuff is important.
Yeah, I know. Like with locks, I've had people come up to me, usually outside of the community, and they'll say, "Are you an artist?" You know, or you know, literally walk up to, "What instrument do you play?" You know, or they think you're homeless. Now, you know, maybe you're a rapper now that rappers have been wearing locks. But I wonder if when people had curls, were people walking up to Coach? You know what I mean? Are you an R&B singer? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? No.
Well, I don't know. Somebody called him, said, "You look just like Stoney Jackson," and it made him so happy. Oh my God, I laughed so hard.
All right, so B. Kramer said, integrated schooling made us hate ourselves even more. I felt prey to that psychosis for a time. Kenwood. I came off 103rd and King, different world. See, Kenwood. Yeah, and that's where Ray School was feeding into, B. Kramer. You know, he probably knew a lot of my guys, you know, Mike Qualls and Jonathan Nobles, I think, went there. Nappy-headed Jonathan, you know. I think Juris ended up going to the Wood, JQ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ronton went to Hales. That's where his head got messed up. Big ups, Ronton. But professional advancement. I don't think having the curl and the conch is so good professionally, but I just think anything by having those naps in your head can be an advancement, which would take chemicals.
You gotta look like you're groomed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't be unkempt going to a, but that don't necessarily mean you have to have the perms and such, the temporaries. B. Cream was there, and he knew all those dudes.
Yeah, because they, graduated at the same time.
Yeah.
Hey, Kramer, they used to call me out, and they used to be looking for my guys. Used to call me because I went to Eisenhower, man. When I left Ray, they used to call me Self Love and be like, "Man, they still calling you out on roll call." I'm like, "Yeah, the city milking that money." Called my name out for 3 weeks. I ain't never went and registered for nothing that would, but I was at the early involvement program. All right. All right, so we're doing these pros. Black women, do black women get a pass? I mean, it seems like Madam C.J. Walker really developed this whole thing with black women in mind. The guys start conking, and later on, try to look like pimps, I guess, whatever it was in the movies. You know what I'm saying? So, but women, do our women get a pass? I mean, we talked about the psychology of someone who wants to date someone with a curl, but what about someone who wants to date someone with a perm?
Yeah, I mean,
or the weave.
Yeah. Or wig for that matter, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, at least the wig, you can take it right off and, have your natural hair.
Get to the naps.
You can have your natural hair. But it's so ingrained and programmed, it's going to be a while. But there are women who don't involve themselves with that and deal with natural. It's not the majority, but there is a small percentage. And I think it might be growing. Like you said, from 2010, it started, natural is, making a
But all the ones
surge.
that are getting the views and getting the major deals.
Yeah, that's part of their whole platform.
They made Lauryn Hill look crazy. You never saw Lauryn Hill. Well, when she was blowing up.
Yeah.
What natural hair person, female, made it on any level? Besides sports, maybe track and field. Even you see them in it.
Yeah. Well, the early WNBA players didn't have their hair like that all the time, whatever.
Yeah, but you're talking about misgenders.
Some of them.
Yeah. I think what's her name? Nuke put on Jill Scott. She had the natural hair, but she might have some sort of color in it. You even take a little Dirk. His hair is natural, but it's blonde.
So that makes it unnatural.
I mean, it could be
Erykah
like a tattoo.
Badu had the natural hair for a while. I don't know what she got now.
They got her believing she made up the term woke. Maybe she did, but I know wake up was always, I don't know. But whatever.
It was a wake up show with Sway and Tech.
I mean, we were always saying wake up. Pros. But do black women get a pass? I say yes. I'm not saying they should get a pass. I'm saying they get a pass.
Yeah, I mean, because it's completely acceptable and not bothersome for most of society.
Or whether it's bothersome, nobody ever says anything about it.
Well, most of society is not bothersome. It's like, okay, whatever.
Most of black male society.
All of society, they don't care about. They want They want.
We're talking about the liberation, though.
Oh shit. Well, the mindset is still going to depend on the mindset as far as that goes. Because I mean, there's so much programming. We can't expect everybody to get deprogrammed. But there are some people, in my opinion, who can be down, but they're not all the way deprogrammed.
Well, Malcolm X had a conk. Is he down?
I mean, when he started to be Malcolm X, he didn't have no conk no more. You know what I mean? He had changed his mind.
I'd say the same about Tupac too.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, you know, there's some great individuals that, for whatever reason, still feel the need to have a process in their hair, and some of them will figure out that it's not helpful.
I don't think you can still have. How is this different from dating or marrying outside the melanated diaspora? How can, Michelle Obama? What if we've never had a president with a curl or a process? Would you vote for a mayor that, had a process? These are questions I'm asking. Like, is this any different?
I wouldn't, and you wouldn't, because we've been out and realized what the process is. It's a introduction of something foreign into your system, which I'm sure it goes right to your brain first, because that's right where it's at, where it's entering.
I'd say it's a clear sign of self-hatred, whether you're conscious of it or.
It's a lot of programming. Is that they programmed our self-hatred? Like, that's. You said it early that we do it to ourselves far more than they do it. I mean, you convince a people of something for so long that you don't even have to do it anymore.
Well, Brother Kramer said the point we have to look kept. He's got kept in quotes.
Mm-hmm.
In order to obtain employment in this country, in order to obtain fiat, which is a ghost, he's referring to money, to survive. Among the worst parts, even worse, is us policing our own hair for them. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So this. Yeah. So the things are geared, towards us presenting ourselves a certain way.
Yes.
But some of this, to his point about us policing ourselves,
right,
then that's coming from parenting, because to make it, you got your hair's got to be conditioned.
and public scrutiny, because the public, like I just said, been doing it so long that we do it to ourselves more than they do it. We've got this racist mentality,
self-hating mentality.
Yeah, it's white supremacy. We have a lot of dark-skinned people are white supremacists and don't know it.
I think I see what you're saying.
They're white supremacists, and they don't even know that they are.
You see them all over the internet.
Yes, they troll everything, and we see it in our daily lives.
It is worse, to his point, policing our own.
Yeah.
In such a negative fashion.
Using white supremacy as the measuring key for a whole lot of stuff and saying it to each other.
Yeah, I remember one of my nephews wanted to get locks, and his dad was against it, because I guess at some point, the locks was associating you with gangs and the drill movement. And that's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's like somebody come home and saying they, they want to get a perm and saying, well, you're gonna look like a stripper, or um, they want to get a curl and saying you're gonna look like dirty folks.
Yeah, it's
But this is somebody trying to express their natural.
well, like you said, now and you're not even sure
They're
if the
doing
hair
it for
is
different
real.
reasons.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
even.
Well,
It's
yeah.
just a hairstyle, and you don't.
Well, he wanted to grow his out though, but
Right.
his dad didn't let him, and that's his dad. His dad's in the picture. Hey, y'all do y'all, and he's got his reasons. He knows what's going on more than me, but
And
you
if he's
know,
looking for safety for his son, and he should decide. That's how I kind of feel.
yeah,
That
that's
part.
where it came from. And
Yeah.
and as I got more into it, I'm like, okay, I see where he's coming from. Police look at this, and is that all white supremacy?
It is, but
Now all of a
not
sudden, if
all.
you
I
got
mean,
natural hair, you're
a lot of these
part of the
people out
drill
here
movement.
doing right. I mean, Vaughn, Dirk. I mean, there's a lot of people that.
But nobody ever did that with the curl. People with curls was NWA. People with curls was drug dealers on the
Ice
street.
Cube. I forgot Ice Cube.
Yes,
Drip, drip.
that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they never put the curl on gangsters, but they can put the natural hair on us.
Which is crazy. I mean, they call them dreadlocks from the beginning, so that's where it stems from.
Yeah.
At least, yeah, so, and then some of the actions, alleged actions by people that wear them, I mean, and they're not doing it for spiritual reasons, they're doing it for how it look or fashion or whatever it is. I don't know.
So ultimately, we have to ask the question: can you be down / trusted, whether you're male or female in the melanated community, foundationally black? Can you be down / trusted with processed hair? We're talking Beyonce. We're talking Megan Thee Stallion. We're talking the corporate person you meet who works for HR. Has got the nice locks. I mean, a nice drop dead gorgeous Indian
Perm.
hair, or the Indian hair, or the perm.
This is hard for me because it's like,
Bro, I wouldn't even let you speak to the kids. Not you, but somebody with
right.
that in their head. Put a skull cap on. We're not doing this in Silverdale.
Yeah, I mean, it's poison and a poor example, in
Yeah, I
my
mean,
humble opinion.
Yes. Yes. Um, Now I would agree with you. We all, grow at our own time, and the Lord moves us, or the Creator, the Spirit moves us to represent ourselves, and learn from our errors. Malcolm X is proof that you could have been lost and now you're found. You know, although, you know what I'm saying, Self? Although I've still got some concerns. Like if I had a daughter and you came around, somebody came around and wanted, take her to prom or something, sit down. Have you ever had a curl? Have you thought about it? Okay, so loving your own cultural aesthetics is the ground level for consciousness. If you ain't even got that, no, you ain't about nothing radical. I mean, let's look at the athletes. Jim Brown never had a curl. Muhammad Ali, I can't say never, but at least in the public eye. Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay didn't have that. Muhammad Ali definitely did. Michael Jeffrey Jordan never got it. I'd see Michael Jeffrey Jordan with one.
He might have had one in high school, and that's why his shit fell out.
I wouldn't be.
Oh, you know
surprised.
what? Remember, Saturday Night Live had that, said one day the guy, what do you call him? He had a curl. That's why I see Michael Jordan with a curl.
Oh yeah. You're right. They put a curl on him on Saturday Night Live.
Yes. Oh,
And
that's
a lot of
hilarious.
that could be feminizing the black man too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You know, I want my hair to be straight. You know, like the Snoop Dogg look. Now he's different. You know what I mean? Locks are in, and well, he always had the braids, but he'd take those braids out. He'd braid up that conked hair. That's what he'd do. And he'd act like he wasn't conking. Never rapped about it. Never rapped about conking and burning his hair and nothing like that. You know, big up Snoop Dogg.
And boy, you see him on damn near every commercial that come on TV.
Oh yeah.
He's like,
indoctrinated.
damn.
Oh, he's indoctrinated.
He's talking about he a pimp, but he really a hoe because he's
Are we missing
advertise everything?
Are we missing someone who's, because Harold Washington, not saying, you know, Harold Washington didn't have a conk as far as I knew. Could have had it earlier in his life.
Martin Luther King didn't have no conk.
That would have been hilarious.
Oh my God.
Martin Luther King and Malcolm X speaking on yourself right before they go on.
Man, I remember being around my brother and my cousin. They had curls around the same time, singing Jazzy.
It was curl activator. It activated those curls.
Oh
we
man,
got the honorable coming to the stage is the Honorable Minister Farrakhan.
Is it glowing right? Is it the light bouncing off it?
What's worse to you? Would you vote for a potential someone in leadership that had the drip drop, wet curl, black wife? She's got the process. Or the brother who's got the dreadlocks and the Karen on his arm?
Oh, wow. I'd have to go with the drip.
You can watch that out, huh? Oh, that's a tough one.
It's the relationship with the women that makes it for me, because
come on, she's drop dead gorgeous.
Nah, I have a different opinion.
No, it's Cinderella, Snow White, Barbie out there.
Yeah, that's not my cup of tea.
That's a tough one, bro, because I hear you. You're right. I'd go with the drip drop curl if I had to choose.
Well, it does kind of depend on their platforms and all of that too. You know what I
Their
mean?
platforms are gonna probably be the same.
So yeah,
we gotta lock as many of those niggas up, take away as much as the resources as possible, so we can keep locking them up.
Well, then I probably won't vote.
flood their communities with undocumented people. Keep doing first unload the projects on them, and then flood the. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the immigrants from Texas and
Texas. They're from Guatemala, but I know it
no,
just
yeah,
right,
Texas put them on a bus and sent them to Chicago.
right. All right, bro. So, anything else on this? Because I mean, we all love Michelle Obama. I mean, it seems like, but she don't seem like she loves her natural look.
Well, she's been indoctrinated like most of us, and the higher educated you get, the more you have to look the part, not less. So her mom still lives right down the way. And
does her mom have that? Well, she's older. She probably don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't. Last few times I seen her, I didn't even see her hair. It was under a hat or whatever.
I wonder if all the money we invested as a people into straightening our hair, if we invested that in some sort of fund, how rich we would be.
Well, let's just say this. We spend, if we were a country amongst ourselves, we're in the top 5 of all the countries that spend their money.
But I'm talking all the hair care products that these corporations push on us, all the going to the shop once every 2 weeks to spend $400 for this hair and all this and that. If all of that money, was
We'd
put
have,
towards Silverdale,
we would have unlimited resources.
Wow, it could be that simple. But you have to explain to somebody, you have to look naturally the way the creator or your God or whatever you're calling it. You have to express yourself naturally. That's too much to ask, huh?
It's a lot to ask from our indoctrination.
It's amazing, bro.
Be a while till we get back to that. But we got to build Silverdale, and we can have that there.
Yeah, we don't do that here. They be driving around looking for those products. Yeah, those are illegal in city limits. You go over there and get you some of that bear fat.
Use that.
As we talk to you more and teach you more, that's going to be like the cinnamon that they gave, or the nutmeg that they gave Malcolm in prison. We can get you some bear fat so you won't be looking like dirty folks for the next couple of weeks. You know what I mean? But you're only going to get bear fat once. Here we go. Today, Black people have more choices than ever when it comes to our hair. However, these choices are not always easy or free. They are still influenced by various factors such as personal preference, social pressure, which we touched on. We didn't talk much about personal preference because that could be an illusion of personal preference. Cultural norms and institutional policies. Therefore, it is important that we understand the history of Black people, of our hair straightening, the history of our hair straightening, in order to appreciate its complexity and significance. But at the end of the day, it comes down to refusing the blue pill, swallowing the red pill, as we all need to do. Take time for reflection, look at ourselves in the mirror, and ask ourselves some tough questions. We can talk about the monkey suit, the 3-piece suit, the shirt, the tie. We can get into that, but I guess that's another show for another day. But that's today's Self Love Show, as far as this topic here.
Yeah, we will need to discuss that because I'm starting to remember that we created that as well.
The monkey suit?
Yeah, they've stolen all our style. We didn't imitate them. They imitated us.
Wow.
So much that they usurped us and took our place. That they took our names. We didn't take their names. They took our names.
You mean like Washington, Jackson?
Yes, Smith and Brown, and yes.
Interesting. All right. So Midwest Festival is presenting House Stock, you guys, 2023. There it is. It's a weekend of glamping, great house music, um, um, a medley of house DJs.
Yes.
Get your VIP section, party, have fun, eat, be around great people.
Absolutely.
All right. So the dome teaser, since nobody in the chat figured it out. What is hard and hairy on the outside, soft and wet on the inside, begins with a C and ends with a T? Self Love did solve it in our personal chat. So Self Love, what did you come up with out there?
Well, let me tell you, my first impression of
Yeah,
it
don't
was
say it.
something a little different.
Sounds
I
like bunk.
promise you. And I was like,
Sounds like
hard.
bunk.
But that hard.
Yeah, hard on the outside.
Hard was like, so Spirit told me coconut.
Nice job. Nice job. It was definitely coconut. It was definitely coconut. And you get a lot of that milk comes out of that coconut out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Chat GTP came up with that.
A double entendre.
Man. I knew what it was doing. Do you like that? Just asked me something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what it did. Yeah. Do you like that? All right. So trying to figure me out. I don't answer questions. I don't even answer questions to the AI. So I just don't do it. You ain't figuring me out. All right. Put me in a little box. So yeah. So support house stock. All right. Support house stock. Next week, if we don't have a guest self, we're doing 187 bars. That's our riveting series on deceased rappers, more specifically murdered rappers. And this one could be a bit controversial out there. Left Eye. I'm making a 10 hat, by the way. I have a 10 hat, and we start talking esoteric, and I'm going to pull it right out. Yeah, it's easy to make. So yeah, I'm gonna have a 10 hat. But yeah, Left Eye. Was she murdered? She was running around there with what's his name? Sabi, who was also also people feel like he was murdered.
In the same place.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same place. I mean, same country or what have you.
Yeah. What was it? Bolivia? Not Bolivia. Was it something like that? I think it was Bolivia.
It wasn't Bolivia. It was he has a man. I knew it until you.
You're right. It's in Central America somewhere though.
Yes. Where he is from.
Yeah.
That's where he's from. And he got a healing place down there that he brought people and made sure that they,
Was it Nicaragua?
I don't think so.
It wasn't? Barbados? Something with a B.
No, it wasn't Barbados because that's an island.
This is crazy. He was born in 1933. But anyway, why can't I think of it? Anybody know where Sabi's from?
This is crazy. I know it.
And it won't even come up. Dude, where did Left Eye die? Google that, and that'll tell us.
Yeah.
Because they don't like Dr. Sabi. He's gonna be erased from history. Honduras.
Yep. Honduras. Yeah.
Yeah, Honduras.
I knew it didn't sound Nicaragua. Didn't feel right. I'm like, yeah, Honduras.
La Ceiba, Honduras, and her name's Lisa Lopez or Lopes.
Lopez.
Yeah, Lopez, but she spells it with an S. Rest in peace to her, and condolences to her family. So we're gonna dig into that story next week out there. So
Okay.
yeah,
I've got some research to do.
thanks. Kramer said they stole the materials needed to make the suits from Africans and Asians, but I need to see the history of Africans anywhere rocking Brooks Brothers suits prior to Urugu. Same with the names, i.e. Jackson. Right. Yeah. Um, Speaking of Jackson, Jesse, the regulator, he had some sort of process. Remember that? Yeah, he had process. Don't act like you remember that. Yeah, Jesse had process. We'll be out in Jesse. I think he almost caught his hair on fire one time. Yeah, remember that? He had the Prince. He had the Prince. It was like a Prince thing. Yeah, you remember now. Yeah, we used to have fun. You got a process. What are you talking to me for? You remember?
Yeah, I completely forgot.
Why am I having a serious conversation with a guy with process in his hair? You know, you run around
Oh my God.
look like folks out here. Pick up all the folks out here. That's the last thing I need.
Oh
You know what I
my
mean?
God.
All right. Yeah. You remember that. Yeah, all right. Maybe it's me. I mean, tell me if you
No,
don't. Cause,
no, I mean I didn't until you said it. I don't,
yeah, he's come a long way. You know, in other words, I'd vote for him. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's basically what I was saying. And next week, I think on Mouthpiece Included, we're going to be covering the All Booger Sugar team. We haven't figured it. We haven't confirmed it yet. Yeah, the All Booger Sugar team. But enough of my nonsense. I'm going to turn it over to this brother to my right for my personal favorite part of the whole shebang, and that's Wordsmith's final words out there, out there, out there, out there.
You might need to cut that up a little.
Is that better?
Yeah. The inoculation of indoctrination still has us in a state of inflection and infatuation with those outside of our nation. Our culture needs to revert back to the original aboriginals. We need to leave this white supremacist mind state where we found it. Get together and remain grounded. Educate ourselves back to repatriate what they found when they got here. Send them back where they came from. Or they need to pay the king's ransom to remain. And it cannot speak for us or cause us any pain. I don't know, but I think they need to go. Because for sure, we didn't need them here. Help us grow. Since we always been here, We need to expand and live without fear, so we can grow to the severe. Take it where most will never get near. Physically, financially, live without a care, and grow towards your passion and how you dream to make things happen. For me, it ain't trapping, but I'm tracking my dreams, pursuing it like a fiend. And I ain't on Met. And don't care what you think about me or my rep, because I know I'm thorough and taking the right steps to get to where I'm going. The all-knowing helped me make this path. Taught me how to make the math and walk past those who think better. I'm gonna make it. It's like the activator. Make your hair wetter with your process. So I process my mind. I process the grind. Liberation is hard to find, but we got to get together and operate as one mind. Got to forget all that get mine. We got to get us at the right time. The time is now. Don't worry about the how. We're not going to express that over social media, but we're going to plan and get it together more speedier than you will ever know. Y'all won't see it coming. Watch us grow. Words.
Yeah, stop the self-hatred. Stop that self-hate by any means necessary. Great job there, brother. Great job. And please stop self-hate. It's the biggest disease that's plaguing our society. It's been programmed into your id, your super ego. So let's stop it. It starts inside and then it expresses itself on the outside of you. And then you're burning your scalp to straighten your hair when those people want their hair like yours. It's mind-boggling, self-love. It is mind-boggling. 100%.
Do you think you are the one?
Uh-oh. I think we may have lost self-love here.
You know what that means?
We have lost self-love.
It means know thyself.
All right. Bullets or boomerangs. Stand your ground. Murder is suicide. But an eye for an eye. Silence. That's violence. But if you see something, say something. Slave theory. Greed plus ego over fear. Now you're a slave. Liberate yourself. Charity plus ego. Wait. Scratch that. Charity plus humility times love. That's liberation. Don't answer questions. But question everything. Fear is an illusion. So vibrate love. Forgiveness is the highest love vibration. So do something charitable for the ops or the cops. They say hurt people hurt people. I say healthy people heal thy people. Free the angel. Free Chief Malik. Free Jeff Fort. And free the old man, Larry Hoover. Free all the guys. It's prison of slavery. Be like Yahushua and walk on water. Move mountains. Faith of a mustard seed. Faith of a mustard seed. Move mountains.
Just like being in love. No one can tell if you're in love, you just know it. Through and through. Balls to bone.